Okay, welcome back to Dammuary, and in this episode I'm going to be talking about the 1988 film Bloodsport, which is a fighting style tournament based movie, the last great one in the 80s, in my opinion. Some might even say the last great tournament style movie to ever be made. But obviously, before this in the 80s, you had Karate Kid, and then in the 70s, you had Enter the Dragon with Bruce Lee, and I'll get to that movie a little bit later on. Um, but yeah, this movie it's kind of a very career-defining moment for Van Damme. It's his first major role as a protagonist. Before this, he just had either appearances or he played the villain or the adversary to the main character. But this is really what showcased Van Damme's martial arts abilities and showed the world really what he's capable of and his physical capabilities and stuff like that. So basically, this movie, Canon, when it was completed, Canon weren't really a big fan of it, specifically the fight choreography, which they seem to think was done a bit sloppy. So basically, what happened is they had Van Damme sort of recut and re edit most of the fight sequences in this movie because Van Damme, obviously being a skilled contact sportsman, he knew sort of like how they fight scenes should flow, and obviously with his magic touch and his re-editing, it managed to win the approval of Canon and was then released in 1988. So basically, the movie follows Frank Dukes, who is the character portrayed by Van Damme, and basically he is in the military, serving in the military, and he is a uh, martial artist who travels to Hong Kong to take part in this Kumite event, which is pretty much a tournament-based or tournament-style, fighting featuring many different forms of fighting, from sumo wrestling to karate to boxing, kickboxing. Basically, everything goes, completely no holds barred and no disqualifications, kind of thing. And he basically travels to that in basically to redeem the death of his former teacher's son, who participated in the event and was killed during the event. But Van Damme basically goes there, gives it a try, and sees what it's all about, basically. And when he arrives in Hong Kong, he meets a character called Jackson, who is played by Donald Gibb, who most people will probably remember from Revenge of the Nerds, who he played that sort of big burly bully in the movie. And ever since, he's just kind of been typecast as that sort of big burly guy in movies. But yeah, in this, he sort of brings the comedy factor, and he has a bromance with Frank Dukes throughout the movie. The main villain in this movie is played none other by Bolo Young, who plays Chong Li, who is the main villain in the movie. But Bolo Young, basically, you may know him from Enter the Dragon. He was really good friends with Bruce Lee, trained quite a lot with Bruce Lee throughout the years. And yeah, he's just this basically big, jacked Chinese bodybuilder who has experience with martial arts. So what better adversary to have for a movie when you've got Van Damme as the main character? But yeah, he plays a great role in this. He doesn't really talk throughout the entire film. He's more of a sort of like reserved character that doesn't really say anything, lets his actions kind of speak for themselves, really. And he is the sort of reigning champion of this Kumite event. And things get pretty personal when he takes out Jackson, and obviously Frank wants revenge for basically Chong Li hospitalizing his friend. So during the movie as well, there's also this reporter girl played by Leah Aries, who's pretty much wanting to get into the fight to get coverage, but then as she grows closer to Frank, she pretty much just doesn't want him to participate because people can die in this event, a person of the same name, and it's basically just about his life and his entry into this competition in 1975, in which he won. One thing the film doesn't really stay true to is the location of the Kumatai. In the movie, it's based in Hong Kong. However, Frank Dukes fought in the Bahamas in 1975, so I'm not really sure why they made it Hong Kong, because Hong Kong doesn't really feature in the movie. It's all sort of like based in this ring, so it's not like you'd be able to tell where the tournament was being held anyway. But I guess they just wanted to make it Hong Kong for whatever reason. Lots of really cringy fight scenes in this movie. There's numerous fighting techniques that are quite questionable and honestly quite silly at times. But this is not a movie to be taken seriously by any means. It might be Van Damme's very first role as a protagonist, but even Van Damme himself does some very, very cringy facial expressions in this movie, specifically towards the end, and it just kind of takes you back and makes you think, what the fuck am I watching? But it's kind of like got that 80s cheese feel to it, and Van Damme's not exactly known for being such a serious actor anyway. But yeah, lots of really 80s montages in this. There's a scene on the train where Frank sort of is daydreaming and this 80s music's playing, and he keeps thinking he's seeing Chong Li on the subway train, and it's just such a cringy moment in the movie. So the movie's not short of its few laughs, for the wrong reasons, may I add. But yeah, I mean, I'd say it was a pretty enjoyable Van Damme movie. It's, again, what shot Van Damme's name into the spotlight and gave the public a little glimpse of his capabilities. This movie is pretty much a Van Damme showcase reel, showcasing all of his skills, and that's to do with his martial arts skills, his performance skills, and his comedy, because Van Damme is a very expressionate guy. He likes to express through facial expressions, and for better or for worse sometimes. But yeah, I mean, this is a really great Van Damme movie, one of the best in my opinion, and yeah, definitely check this one out. In my opinion, this is a 7 out of 10. It'd be great if there was like a YouTube version of like the Kumatai, so where YouTubers, specifically DVD reviewers, fought to the death, like quite literally, and the winner would be the sort of king of the DVD community. So like you'd have Cool Duda, Wet Movie 1, and they like literally fucking go at it, like fighting to the death. I don't know, it's just something I really would like to see. So comment your thoughts on that down below, and yeah, maybe we can make it happen if we get, say, I don't know, if we get some big YouTuber like Chris Stuckman involved, he can maybe organise it all. So yeah, comment your thoughts on that down below. Thanks for watching.